Alright guys, today we're going to do some literal equations. Mistransfer Form 4 makes you subscribe. So a literal equation is just like any other equation that you may do. However, it has more than one variable in it. And this has a lot of application when it comes to like science and the medicine world, engineering, when you're manipulating values that you may or may not have. So when we're solving, you first need to identify the variable that you want to isolate and get. So for number one, this is the density formula. You will use this in your science classes. So if you have D equals M over V, which is division, you want to get V by itself. I always make sure I mark which variable I actually want. So I'll put that at the bottom just to help me remember where I'm going so I don't lose track. So I need to get the V by itself. So the first step for me, I'm going to rewrite it just to give myself a little more room, would be to get the V out of the denominator by multiplying V on both sides. That's going to get the V out of the denominator because I can't mess with it when it's there. So what is going on with all these markers? Okay, so we're timesing by V on the right. We also got to times by V on the left. When you multiply and divide by the same thing, it cancels out. We do that all the time. V times D is VD, DV, it don't matter. So D times V equals M. V is not by itself yet because you need to divide by D on both sides. Now, if you divide M by D, that's not going to make some crazy thing. It's not going to turn into an I or something. It's just going to be V equals M over D, and you have successfully got V by itself. So that's how you solve the density formula for volume in this case. That's a real example. Now, these ones I just made up, but we're going to roll with it. It's a lot of stuff going on in this one, number two. We want to get Y by itself. Y is on the left-hand side. There's a lot of garbage with it. Let's get rid of it. Our first step, I'm going to rewrite, and then I'm going to get rid of the B in the division because division makes things messy. It kind of traps everything. So I'm going to get rid of the division by multiplying by B on both sides. When I do that, when you multiply and divide by the same thing, it cancels out. It simplifies to a 1, so that's good to go. We get x times y minus 3, and now we have to distribute the letter b. We haven't really done that a lot, but you can treat it just like any other number. B times c is just bc. In algebra, you want to put your number or your letters in alphabetical order when possible. And then 2 times b is just 2b. So I distributed. Now I need to get rid of the x and the negative 3. I'm going to get rid of the negative 3 first. That's a negative 3. The inverse operation is adding 3 on both sides. Hopefully you're still with me. X times y equals bc plus 2b plus 3. Also, while you're checking out this outfit, the new Grinch movie sucks, for the record. It's not as good as the old one. And then we need to divide by x on both sides. And we're going to divide everything by x. All of that. And I know that's super weird and ugly and nobody likes it, but that's okay. That's what they said about you too. So y equals bc plus 2b plus 3 all over x. And that is your answer. Okay, so if you got lost in number 1 or number 2, guys, this is really a test if you understand like terms. You can't mix things if they're not the same. So like when we added 3 over here, you can't add 3 to 2b and magically turn that into a 5b or something. That's not how it works. Variables don't get mixed with numbers, and variables that are different don't get mixed with other variables. A plus b is not a times b. It's a plus b. So on number 3, we're solving for x, so we have to get rid of everything that's on the x side. So we have to get rid of a negative 3 and a 2c. So for this one, before I get rid of multiplication, I have to get rid of the 2c, which would be subtracting 2c. And I know that's weird, but just treat it like a plus 2. You're going to subtract 2c on both sides. And when you do that, on the left-hand side, all that we have left is negative 3x. On the right-hand side, negative 3 minus 2c is not negative 5c. It's just negative 3 minus 2c because they're not like terms. It's like separating your food on your cafeteria tray. Don't mix stuff. That's weird. Then, divide by negative 3 on both sides. We get x all by itself, which is the whole point of what we're doing. And now you could write this 2 ways. You can keep it messy, which is totally cool. Totally cool. Or you could simplify it and get 1 plus 2 over 3c by dividing everything by 3. Either one works. They're equivalent statements. Equivalency is what it's all about. If you guys have questions, make sure when you're watching this, you comment down below. I can make another video. I'm totally cool with that. The Grinch is here to give you Christmas, not steal it. This next one's gonna be tricky. Honestly, I don't expect most of you know how to do this at this point of the year, but we're still gonna roll with it. We need to get BA by itself, and you'll notice there's A's on both sides. So I'm gonna subtract KA, which think of it like a 3x, please stop talking in the back, thank you, minus KA on both sides. Now because that's a KA and that's a BA, I can't mix them up. So I'm gonna get U equals BA minus KA. Thanks. So, I don't expect you to know how to do this yet, but there's something called factoring, which is like reverse distributive property, so it's really not that complicated, so pay attention, maybe you can pick it up. So U is good, U's all by itself, but we have to get rid of this B minus K. So, what I gotta do is I gotta factor out the A. I'm gonna pull A out of there, so since A multiplies by B and A multiplies by K, I can pull it out. So it's gonna be A times B minus K. So if you look at that, if I redid what I just did, redistribute, I can re-multiply by A and I'll get BA minus KA. So I'm not changing anything, I'm just changing how it looks. I'm taking the A out. My next step is to get rid of the B minus K. Because I'm multiplying that by the A, I can divide by it. So I'm gonna divide by B minus K. I'm gonna divide by B minus K. Those cancel out, and I know that's super weird. It's okay. So U equals B minus K, and that's all equal to A. This is literal equations. It's good when you know some of the variables that you have, but not all of them. So again, these are kind of messy. You're not going to see ones like that too often, but density is something that you definitely will work with in science class. Don't mix like terms. Get the variable that you need to get all by itself. Subscribe. I'll see you guys later.